Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the H&S podcast. My name is Shaun. Alongside me, we've got James.
Hello, howdy, how do you do?
Big week in rugby league after round one. We're usually
Was it?
talking. Yeah. I think a few things happened. We'll have to remind ourselves though. It's a bit
I
forgettable as
don't
well.
think I do not think, there's a few things I do not think we need reminding of.
No, maybe not reminding, but there are some new things that have happened, especially with the Rooster side. Some changes there that we can go over. I think in a little bit. What do you reckon?
No, thanks. I think your reception's bad, and that's the end of the podcast. Thank you and goodbye.
No, I think definitely a few headlines. I reckon we start with Piegate.
Oh yeah, what about this?
Uh,
What happened there? What's
yeah.
I firstly, he threw a pie at someone. Like, what a bullfed.
Mm-hmm.
But Bulldogs fans, do they have a right to complain?
Yeah, that's it, right? And did you? I just heard a Discord noise go off.
So did I. There he
Yeah,
is,
who
Pablo
is it?
himself.
Hen
I heard you guys calling me.
Henry. Who's that? James, do you know a Henry?
Nah.
No, mate. Do you mind identifying yourself, please?
Mate, just because you had one of the biggest signings in NRL history, you don't know who I am.
No, I don't. I haven't seen you in ages. I don't think I've ever seen you before. But look, that would be a great comment if we were actually talking about that signing. But you're actually segueing into something, and if you were on time, you'd know what we're talking about. So maybe just pipe down a little.
Hi, bro.
Alrighty, that's Henry. For those of you who missed it, we're talking about the pie, Henry. Did you get that incident over in the US?
Yes, I did. Well, I caught the tail end of it yesterday. So,
Yep.
wow, what utter crap from that fan. Sorry, continue.
No, it was pretty gnarly, pretty dumb. James asked if Bulldogs fans have a right to complain.
100% they do, because if it was a Bulldogs fan that did it, everyone would be putting Bulldogs straight onto the streets and slogging them, because that's how they would treat the Bulldogs fans. Because it's a Dragons fan, I feel like it's toned down. If it was a Roosters fan, it'd be toned down even more.
Mate, we wouldn't throw a pie, we'd throw some caviar.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah, there
say
you go.
throw a few diamonds.
Just throw a Rolex watch.
I don't think people will be complaining then.
Like,
Mate.
I agree, you shouldn't have done it. You're an absolute dipshit, mate. But Bulldogs fans, glass houses, as our friend Michael Maguire would say.
I hate it, to be honest. I think it's a big thing in our game or in society in general. Wow, we're getting deep on the hands potty here. A lot of people are doing stupid things for TikTok, and it's getting annoying. Like, it's getting on my nerves when people go and there's this trend where they go ask officers for their name and badge number, and then say good boy or good girl when they give it to them, and I'm just like,
Is that what this pie thing is? Like, obviously, I'm not up with the social faux pas of the children these days. But
they recorded, and I'll replay it for the viewers. It'll be on the screen. They recorded themselves buying the pie and talking to the lady saying, "Oh, would this be good to throw at a fan?" And then they recorded actually throwing the thing. And it's like, you're just doing it for clickbait or views or whatever. And for me, it's a cat move, and it's also a dumb move. There were some people said a can was also thrown, and I was at the Big Bash a few weeks ago now, and somebody threw a full bottle of water, and they had a shit arm, so they didn't make it onto the field. They almost took out a kid in the crowd. And it's
And
like,
this is why I think the Bulldogs fans should really be throwing their hands up in the air for this. And I don't think I don't agree with what James is saying. I think this should be highlighted, and the fans should really stand up on this, because, like you said there, Shaun, I think if we sweep this under the rug, it's just going to keep happening more and more, people aren't going to feel like they're going to get punished that hard for it. So I'd say make an example of them.
Yeah, the punishment needs to
Mate.
be worse than going viral.
100%.
I just ban him for life. You get, mate. You are
Yeah,
a dipshit.
100%.
Don't. We will be better off without you.
Yeah, I agree. Like,
100%.
what's one fan gonna do? I'm sure his kids will still like rugby league and get mum to take him if he can ever convince anyone to marry him. I doubt it, but like, yeah, just ban the guy. And then there's also the side of things where people are like, oh, but Ezra Mam, we're letting him come back and play. And I'm just like, when Ezra Mam did what he did, everyone had their own opinion and said what needed to be said. And now this is a different situation, totally different. And people are saying what needs to be said here. It's not, one doesn't equal the other.
Just because they stuffed up the punishment for Ezra Mam doesn't mean we need to stuff up the punishment for this bloke.
100%. It is where I'm at. We're moving away from like weekly game reviews. I think that's kind of boring, if I'm being honest with you. But something I noticed over the past week's games was a lot of the scorelines are massive. You've got 22 points, Raiders beat the Warriors. You've got I'm going to do maths on the podcast. 36 points is how much the Broncos won by. I didn't say who they beat, but I think I might say they beat the Roosters now. There was that 30-point drubbing from Manly.
Well, who did that beat? I didn't hear you.
The Sydney
mate,
Roosters.
Don't you stop.
Yeah, do you know what games after the Manly Sea Eagles winning 42-12 over the Cowboys?
No.
Do you want to take a guess, Henry?
No,
Last game of the round?
I'm not too sure.
Nah, yeah, it's I think it's Melbourne Storm 56 and this blue and yellow team from Parramatta 18. James, what team is that? Blue and yellow.
The Parramatta Dylan Browns.
Ah, yes. So, do you think it's a one-off or
No, I don't.
is this a continuing trend?
I think it's a continuing trend. I think that there are two elite teams, and then some really good teams, and then some really bad teams.
It's that last comment that I agree most with. The really bad teams are really bad. Like, it's concerning.
Yeah, and then they're wanting to expand even further next year. Next year is the next expansion team, correct? Or is it the year after?
I think have they given a year yet? I don't think they have.
I don't.
It won't be next year.
I think they've given PNG 27 or 28.
Yeah, it's not 26. That's
It's
for
a
sure.
couple. Sorry.
I thought it was
couple of years.
28.
Yeah, I don't know when it is,
They
but it's
wanted
definitely not
They
next
wanted
year.
to bring in WA in 27.
Well, there you go, right? I think it's just going to get worse if we get that expansion of those expansion teams then come into play, if we're already at the point that we are with the current teams.
But it's also teams being dumb. Like,
Yeah.
you look at Parramatta and Newcastle, for example. Dylan Brown had to take that. That's $30 million.
Oh, 100%. He should.
Like, I will leave. I'd leave for $30 million. Like, no dramas. But then, like, it does. So you've made Parra weaker because he is a good player. He's not worth that. But Newcastle, did Newcastle get stronger?
I don't know.
Like, do they?
Like,
But they're also like stuffs up their cap. So it's like, well, there's probably two bad teams.
Yeah,
The problem is, I think he needs $1 million halfback to be able to play alongside and actually be useful in my eyes, anyways.
My thing is,
$1 million halfback,
like,
isn't he?
it's James's point of teams are dumb. It's not that we don't have players, because there are still halves running around in cup or not getting the recognition they deserve. That aren't getting a run in first grade. That have been I had a list earlier, but it was Jonah Pezzett, Jake Clifford.
Sweet Drew Hutchinson.
Yeah, Drew Hutchinson. If you have 20 teams in a comp, he could probably be a first grader. Make his tackles at least, which is something Parramatta didn't do. Sanders is also playing reserve grade at the Raiders, right? Like, there are... That's three Jamie Humphries
got-
was a reserve grader until Lewis Dodd got suspended.
You've got Carter Gordon at the Gold Coast. He did
Yeah.
play for the Wallabies, so that's someone.
Yeah, and that's already like 4 or 5 halves who, look, they're not going to play Origin next year, but I'd say they're serviceable.
Yeah.
Maybe we sound like we're clutching at straws, but it's not a depth issue for me. It's a coaching
Jake
and
Clifford?
a decision. Yeah, Jake Clifford. Yeah, exactly. There's so many. Whether you think he should play or not, Ezra Mam. Yeah,
Yeah, Ezra Mam.
right. And then
Even say Ezra Mam was fit, like Ben Hunt, he'd be playing hooker.
Yep. And you've
He's a
got
quality half.
Brad Schneider probably at the Raiders. Oh no, sorry,
Yeah.
Penrith.
Phoenix
Talangi, the number
Crossland.
6, Phoenix Crossland playing hooker, and there's plenty of hookers coming through as well. So it's not like there's a shortage of them. So I don't actually think it's as shallow as what people make it out to be. I just don't think it's well managed.
Yeah. Yeah. There's also probably a lack of quality coaches as well,
And
which adds to sort of what you were saying as well.
yeah, I was thinking about it. We spend so much money and time developing players. How much money and time does the NRL spend developing corporates and coaches?
I'd say not many.
Yeah. And now the game's lacking in corporate nous and in coaching nous. If you want a skill shortage, it's coaching. There's plenty of talented coaches there, but not many of them are getting opportunities to get better.
Look at South Sydney, right? They had Wayne because Seabold went to Brisbane. But they said, righto, Wayne, we're going to have you, 3 years max, because we want Demetrio to be long term. Then what? Demetrio was there for a year and a half?
Yeah.
And look who's back.
Yeah, I mean, that's
Like
it.
the
right?
man's 400 years old. I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but like we can't move away from him. He will. Even Bellamy's sneaky old.
Yeah, he's close to 70, if not crossed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely close. Just doesn't look it.
Yeah, the blood pressure will catch up to him. But yeah, that's it, right? Like, and it's stupid clubs doing stupid things, right? Like, I think BA was a good coach. Probably time to move on from Para, but they probably left it too long, right? If they got rid of him earlier, BA's still coaching in the NRL somewhere.
But look at my team. We did the exact same thing with the playing group. We could have moved on Jared and Luke Keary. Well, we had our run. We won 2 comps in a row. We stuck with that. Now we're paying this could have been a year or 2 ago where you're getting these young blokes games and this and that. But it's like, we held on for nothing.
Yeah, and your run reminds me of the Cowboys.
Yeah, like we gave up. We went a year too late when we should have given up a year too early.
And you're the Roosters, right? You can turn things around pretty quickly. It's not like if you give up a little bit earlier that you're going to struggle for the next 4 years.
No.
It's you go 15th one year and then win the comp the next year or something.
Well,
I
we
don't know
did
what
that.
happened.
We came second last 2016.
And then
won the comp. Yeah, made a prelim 8 the next year and then won the comp the year after that.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. So I definitely think this going back to the trend. I think it's a trend. I think it's a worrying trend. I think it's the bottom end that needs to step up. And like, Henry, was Ryan Madison injured or something? Like, why is he not playing? Ryan Madison.
I actually didn't. I don't know. Viv asked me this exact same question.
He was on the bench, wasn't he?
No, he didn't play.
He wasn't on the team list.
Yeah.
I swear he was named on the bench.
No, he didn't play. I promise you, he didn't play. Unless he did, and I'm being an idiot. But
he didn't play. He definitely didn't play. I don't think he was on the team list.
He didn't play. He's on team list this week, but yeah, he didn't play. Sam Tuivati got a run.
Is that? Yeah, and I think Matt Dury and stuff were.
Matt Dury, Charlie Geimer, and Riley Smith.
Yeah, okay.
I need to make a retraction. Last week I said Riley Smith was shit. I was thinking of a different player. I mixed up some names. Riley Smith's he's good. He's from the Penrith system. Got signed to Para, and he's good. Played flag, I want to say, a lot for them last year. Played a lot of flag last year and then a bit of cup towards the end. He's good. So I just wanted to make that retraction in case we get famous and somebody digs this up and says Shaun's a dickhead to Riley Smith before he even debuted.
Don't worry, guys. I can speak for fact. Shaun is a dickhead.
but not for the Riley Smith opinion. Other reasons.
Yeah, 100%.
Cool beans. Let me just pull up my winners and losers. While we're on last week, does anyone stand out as a loser? The obvious things aside.
Henry, no.
Yeah.
I mean, what are we? 2 points difference for the for and against?
Yep.
Far out.
He's already a massive loser, but I would say Ezra Mann.
Yeah, that's a. Did you come up with that just now, or did you spend some time thinking? That's a great.
No, let's just come up.
That's phenomenal from you.
That's what I do, guys.
Yeah.
Funny, huh?
Yeah, that's a good shout. He's probably going to play 14, if that. Like if you're Madge, I'm probably running Moser and Pakes, and then sorry Ezra, no room for you.
Yeah.
But Henry, do you have any losers, winners?
Wouldn't say I have any losers. I don't know where.
The winner, isn't he?
I don't know where you got the Ezra Mam coming up.
Well, I think it's because Ben Hunt and A-Ray killed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Fair call.
Right.
I don't know. Don't have one. Don't have any winner or loser at the moment in the top of my head.
I've got one that isn't a player or a team. Henry's a winner. Henry, do you remember who you put down as should have retired last year in our predictions?
I don't know.
Christian Welch.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
That's phenomenal from you.
No, he's good. He did retire.
Yeah. Without playing a game. That's insane.
I called it.
Yeah.
Didn't think he was gonna have a full season, to be honest. And there you go.
Yeah, should have retired last year.
Not in a bad way. Yeah, not in a bad way.
Yeah,
it's just
injuries.
He just wasn't. Yeah, you could tell the back-to-back head knocks that he had last year. Just it highlighted, and also the fact that his injury. Just he wasn't never back to where he was after his injury. Didn't think he was gonna last very long.
No. You know what's gonna last a long time though? Dylan Brown's contract.
Wow.
Oh, that's good.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's good. Well, you're the Newcastle fan, so why don't you tell us what you think first?
Look,
yeah.
If you've somehow missed it, I've been living under a rock. Dylan Brown has signed with the Newcastle Knights for currently
8.4 billion.
Yeah. He's going to buy Vanuatu. It's 13 million over 10 years with a ratchet clause that has been reported to cap out at 1.4 million. So let's say 13.5 million over 10 years. I am petrified of this signing. We don't need him. Like, he's a 5'8". I don't think anyone here thinks he's a halfback. He didn't do well last week. He didn't do well when Moses was out the week before. The year before when Moses fractured his foot. Dillbags did nothing. I think Parramatta's win percentage without Mitchell Moses is under 30%, which doesn't bode well for Dylan Brown. And somebody put a clip up on Twitter with Dylan Brown, and this was maybe 3-4 years ago, but still, he was old enough at the time. It had been 22 maybe, where he says, I tend to zone out in games, and Mitchell Moses needs to yell at me to stay in the game. And that's the guy who we've signed to play halfback for 10 years.
And he's the one that's been signed on one of the biggest contracts.
The biggest contract ever.
Not Nathan Cleary.
I don't know.
It's not Nathan Cleary.
That's it.
I think
right?
it's not
Turbo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not Turbo.
The sum of the contract is the biggest that's ever been signed. 13 million minimum.
Yep.
Over 10 years.
You don't. I mean, yeah. Wow.
And you just hit the
What
nail on the
happened?
head.
That is guaranteed if he gets a Jarrell Yao
Yep.
round one.
Yep.
Next year, isn't it?
Yep. And here's the kicker. I don't think insurance covers nearly as much of it as it used to.
I think it's 50%. They say.
Yeah, I
You
don't know
need
the percent, but it's how much did you say?
50.
Wow. Yeah. So that's what 7 million that we're in the thing for. That's
Yep.
and we're not the
You wanna get
Roosters.
up
We
to,
don't make that every weekend.
Yeah. You'd want to get up to bloody West Newcastle and
Yeah.
put that $20 for the pokies.
Yeah. You
That's
know,
what you hit the
buy some raffle
jackpot.
tickets.
Yeah.
Look, the meat trays are good at West, but not that good. Yeah, and Henry sort of alluded to it. If you're giving the biggest contract in NRL history, why are you taking a risk?
I heard someone say it pretty well. You might have been James Graham. He said, like, righto, you've signed someone, but close your eyes. You've just signed someone 10 years, 13 million. Who have you signed?
Nathan Cleary.
That's Nathan Cleary, for sure, in my mind.
Like,
Actually,
how many people do you have to get to before you guess Dylan Brown?
More
Or
than
if you
15.
once you scratch the name off and it goes Dylan Brown, you're a bit like, oh.
Yeah, more than 15. That's actually something I thought of as well. I'm like, not only is he not a proven player for what we've signed him for, so there's a risk there, he's not worth the money, period. Like, there's no other club where I look at and say, we shouldn't take the risk because we have Fletcher Sharp, but this other club should. Right? There's no,
No.
I thought the Tigers should have taken the risk on Jerome Luai. I don't think Penrith should have.
When they signed him, he'd won 3 premierships in a row.
Yep. And he'd proven
and
himself a controller.
He's proven that he doesn't need Nathan Cleary.
Yeah, and he's proven that he can be the 7. Not only does he not need Nathan Cleary to be as good as he is, he can change his role to be a 7. He can kick, he can organise. Like, I watched him over the weekend. He's non-stop, just non-stop yelling and pointing. It was insane. I don't know how long that's going to last, but knowing Jerome Luai, I don't know him personally, but that's going to last the whole season.
And again, I think we need to reiterate, this isn't Dylan Brown's fault.
Yeah, 100%. Dylan Brown, take the money, mate.
Someone offers you this, brother, go right ahead, yeah?
Bend Newcastle over the table and don't even lube up. Just go for it.
Well, mate, that's what happened last night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Look, so what's doing at Newcastle?
I don't know.
Yeah, what's the go? I don't see what the move is. Are they moving Ponga along? Are we not knowing that Ponga is not the future?
I would assume that they're less confident on Ponga than they were before.
Or is this we need a kill so Kalen doesn't leave?
Well, I'm sorry, but Kalen is the kill.
It's also like, hey, Kalen, here's half a job done that's hamstrung us to do any other move.
Yeah, like this move, a lot of people are selling this as what you've just said. Oh, so Kalen Ponga can have a bit of help. Kalen's on 1.4, 1.5? Or he will be?
Yeah, you are the help, bro.
Yeah,
He is
the guy that, right? Like, it's, and I'm not saying he's the one who said go sign Dylan Brown. I'm saying the club has spent this much money on Kalen and justified it by saying people are going to want to play with him. And now they've gone and signed Dylan Brown, so Kalen wants to play at the club. It's like...
But it's also, they've had to ridiculously overpay Dylan Brown.
Yeah, and here's the other one. I would rather Jonah Pezzett on 850 than Dylan Brown on 1.3. I know that sounds dumb, but Pezzett's a 7.
No, yeah, I understand that.
And I don't think the upside is there with Dylan to get to 1.3, but I think the upside is there with Jonah to get to 850.
8. Mate, there's probably like one person in the game that can get to 1.3.
Yeah. It's... I don't... Yeah, and we've done this a lot with our halves where we don't just get... Like, we need a halfback. Sign a halfback.
That's another thing. It's like, if you I was going to say if you overpaid a little bit, but you've overpaid a lot. Yeah. But, like, at least buy the right position.
100%. And that's why I'm like Jonah on 850. He's the right position, the right player, the right skill set. Might not be able to do it in first grade. But at least that way your risk is 850 instead of 1.3 for 10 years. Like 850 over 3 years versus 1.3 for 10.
You're
Yeah,
not losing
it's
too much.
and I don't think you can. I don't think this is a knock on Para or Jason Riles because that is just stupid money.
Yeah, and
And
It
Parramatta
is.
have done well to not. Yeah,
get
like,
baited.
yeah.
I would
Parramatta's-
I would have been saying if they did. There is I've watched him. I watch him quite heavily. Yes, he's probably one of my favorite players, but no, is he worth even close to that amount of money?
Well, if he took up the option with you guys, he would have been on 1.1 for like 5 years.
And that's already the most he should be paid.
Would you have been happy for him to take that, or are you relieved? Forget
I'm
you're relieved that you didn't
I'm
match
actually
this, but are you relieved that he also isn't now 1.1 with you guys for the next few years?
yeah. I think after yesterday's Sunday's game, and just one, I think the half torn ACL is probably going to play a part, and hopefully that isn't going to be a re-injury where he's out for the whole season. By the way, but
Yeah.
I think the fact that we're not where we need to be this year, well, at least the start of this year has shown, I don't think it's worth keeping him, and it's kind of a good point for us to start rebuilding because he just doesn't seem like the player we need when Moses isn't going to be there for very long. I'd say, Moses is peaking, and he might peak for another year after this. But after that, we need a player that can step up in Moses's position and be able to lead a team. Right? We don't have the voice of Gutho anymore.
Y-
We don't have the voice of Moses when Moses is not there, and
I
especially
disagree.
Moses.
I think Moses has at least another 4 good years left in him.
Yeah, he's
there
only
you go.
30.
Yeah.
I'm saying at the absolute peak. I think he's still going to have good years in him, but at
Yeah.
absolute peak, I think he's got another big year, and then I mean, pretty much 2 years left on that peak, and he's going to start slowing down after that.
Does Jason Riles not play Dylan Brown for the rest of the year?
I don't want him to play. Why would he play him? In my eyes, I just don't see why he would.
Look, it's round 1. I would play my best 17.
No.
Because do you not want to, like, I would still want to make finals, and even if we're not going to win the comp, I would want more finals experience going through this club. I would want the club going through its structures properly. I would want all those things. Now, if it gets to round 20 and they're not going to make finals, yeah, drop Dylan Brown. But I wouldn't be dropping.
What if they go, how many weeks is Moses missing? 6?
I think so, yeah.
So what if they're 0-6 when Mitch is back? Do you give Volkman the 6 jersey to be like, right, let's see what...
Well, it depends how they're playing, right? Like, if Vulcan's killing it and Brown isn't, then maybe.
Well, like, what if Vulcan's playing pretty well? It's like, well...
Volkman has shown that he's got the balls to do the plays that he did over the weekend. Not that they were great. I think they were shit plays by him, by the way. And I was actually quite irritated that I felt like they should pull him away. But it just showed that Brown didn't try and get control of the game at all, and it left it to a rookie to do that.
And now
left the rookie to do that.
Volkman isn't even that much of a rookie. Now imagine him doing that to Fletcher Sharp, who's a fullback, who is an actual rookie. Right? Like, Volkman might not have played that much, but he's been around first grade for at least 3 years now.
Yeah, he was in our system originally.
He was in your system. I think he's been at the Dragons. He's been at the Warriors.
And the Warriors.
So that's at least 3 years worth of NRL, at least being in the environment, right?
Yeah.
We're now, this is Fletcher's 2nd year. And we're going to put Dylan Brown next to him.
You give Volkman the 6 jersey. So obviously they're in the need for a 6 after this year.
I'm hoping we go for Galvin, Lockie Galvin. He's a Parramatta junior.
Hands off, mate. Big body next to Sammy Walker. That's perfect.
No, I think Lockie wants to come to Para. So
why are you giving him 1.4 over 10 for 10 years?
No.
Oh, well,
but he'll come for one. He'll come for one.
You're gonna need to pay more than 1 for him in a year's time.
When does he open up this November, right? So
I think so, yeah. So he'll have this season, and if he's going to have a good season, like Sam Walker's on what, James, 900?
I think one.
One. I think Galvin's going to be on similar. Maybe not at the Roosters or at Parramatta, but I think a club is going to throw one at him.
Mate,
that's the reason
Newcastle
why I said Barrow.
to play hooker.
Hey?
1.5. Newcastle.
Yep. We'll have those three, and then just some
But
guys
just
on
on
training
that,
trials, match payments.
You got rid of Saifidi because you were apparently over the cap,
Yep.
according to your own recruitment manager.
Yep.
And now you've just given about 1.3.
Yeah.
How
We
does
were
that
so
feel?
far over the cap, we
I
couldn't
never,
fill out our
ever wanna
roster
hear
with
you-
minimum wage.
I
is-
never ever want to hear cap jokes from you again.
Yeah, no, see, this is the silver lining. The only way this works, if we are now the Roosters, right? If we throw 1.3 at him, 1.5 at Ponga, and then if we just keep signing, like Dom Young probably wants to come back. We'll
You
take
can have
back.
him, please, for the love of God.
Yeah, and if you could throw Sue along with him as well.
No.
Payne Haas probably wants to move to New South Wales. Like, we're the new powerhouse, baby. Like, paper bags. You're gonna need a freight to transfer the amount of cash we're throwing around. Like, that's the only upside if we finally figured out how to rort the cap. And maybe that's why we signed so many Roosters players back in the day. We just needed to know how they were being paid.
Through reputable
Yeah. And
NRL payments.
yeah, I'm pretty sure Aiden Guerra is working at our club now. I can see why that's probably how we did it. But no, look, I go through the list and I'm like, we need a 7. Jamal Fogarty, we can probably get him, right? Would it be that hard to sign Jamal Fogarty? And is he a better player than Dylan Brown? No. But does he do the things we need him to do better than Dylan Brown? Absolutely.
That's like saying is Payne Haas a better player than Dylan Brown?
100%.
No, but
yeah. That's it, right? I hated that I even had to say, is he a better player? Because you've just hit the nail on the head. They're two different positions, two different players.
Yeah.
You're never going to compare the two, right? And then we're also letting Brayley go. I don't know about you guys, but I like Brayley. He's been injured, but I like Brayley.
He's not bad. It depends what he's solid.
Yeah, and the Raiders are signing him. Would he be on that much money? Probably not.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Goes for Phoenix 100% hooker then.
No, Phoenix is my halfback.
I'm saying not your halfback, but AOB's halfback.
Yeah.
Is he AOB's halfback or is he the hooker?
He'd be the hooker with Dylan Brown playing 7.
Exactly.
It's stupid. Like, let Phoenix develop as a halfback, because we saw at the end of last year he's still got potential. He sucks because he hasn't played there for years, but put him in cup for a few months and he'll be fine. We've got Matt Arthur coming through.
Kiwi hooker?
Hey?
Isn't he the Kiwi hooker?
Yeah, but I think it's because Jerry Marshall King and Brandon Smith were out.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, what happens to Matt Arthur? He's got to get a run, doesn't he? He goes pretty good.
Yeah, that's it, right? Like, I would have kept Brayley. He plays 9. Matt Arthur comes on the bench while he's developing. Phoenix develops as a 7. Fletcher's developing as a 6. Ponga's the main man. Right? I know that's a lot of
when did Matt Arthur go to Knights? Whoa, what did I miss?
Yeah,
Hey guys, welcome to the 2024 end of season.
It might have been when you fired his dad. I don't know.
Oh. Fair enough.
Alright, what else should we talk about? I'm over Dylan Brown.
You're over Dylan Brown. I
think
have to talk about him for the next 10 years.
Yeah, well, can you lose my number and reinstate it in 11?
Oh, what else is there to talk about? There was something. I've just missed out everything. But
well, you touched on the Brayley to Canberra thing.
I think I don't know how I feel about that because I'm a big fan of Zach Wolford. I think Tom Starling's a good player and Owen Paddy's a good player.
Yeah. Well, since Paddy debuted, it's a bit odd.
Like, if you're running 2 hookers in your 17, you need 4 in the squad. I get that. But unless it's cheap as chips, your 4th hooker needs to be either a lock hooker or very, very cheap. Yeah, or a half. But yeah, it's a weird one. But I like Brayley. I think he adds quality. I think he's got leadership about him. I think he makes his tackles. He's a fine signing as long as he can stay on the field.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you guys didn't get him.
No, we got Reece Robson.
Yeah, but you need a backup.
We got
Yeah, who do you have? Connor Watson?
Connor Watson. I don't know. We got a young bloke, Tyler Moretti or something.
Okay.
Moriarty.
Yeah, and Harry Grant's only a couple of years away anyway.
No, I hate Harry Grant. I
love
would
Harry
never
Grant.
want him.
What a beast. No, yeah, that's about it.
He's an absolute god. I actually want to
Team
mention
list.
that.
Oh, you
I
wanna
don't know
mention
if anyone watched that game and you just watched a
He's a
player
god.
like Harry Grant.
Mate, he's the best.
I am over
Gamesmanship.
the
Gamesmanship.
he is trying so hard to be a Cameron Smith and brought the refereeing.
Hey, if it
Like,
works, it works. I think it only didn't work one time. Every other time, he got his way.
It's just ridiculous the fact
Sounds
that
like
he was
jealousy, mate.
pretending
Sounds
to
like
fall
jealousy.
over. He was trying
That's the only one that
oh,
didn't go
jeez.
his way. Every other time, he made it a good decision for his team.
It's ridiculous. He is.
I think you should take that up with the officiating, mate. It's not his fault.
I'm with you, Henry. He's a dickhead.
No, he's a gun.
If
Adam
you
Elliott's,
respect the game, you play it properly.
No, if you respect the game, you play within the rules and you win. This sounds like some English cricket stuff from you guys, honestly.
He's a dog.
He's not playing in the spirit of footy. He should be. No. Yeah, I'm sure Parramatta had the moral victory, but the Storm lapped you guys. So
Parramatta had no victory.
We had no victory. Exactly.
Hey, you had one victory, and it was not having Dylan Brown sign for 1.1.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
I hope that's the case. I hope he doesn't step up at the Knights.
Look,
I'll be very sad.
See, this is the shit thing. I can talk as much crap as I want this year, but as soon as the off season comes around, I'm gonna have to be optimistic about it.
100%, you have to. You've got a 10-year deal.
What's that, James?
No, I want you to just be honest.
You excited or what?
Say how much you hate him.
No, I don't hate him though. I hate the club for signing him on that much money.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Like you said, it's not his fault. Good on Dylan Brown. If I see him at the pub, his shout.
Oh, 100%.
The club. Anyway, Adam Elliott's finally going to play rugby league, being named on the bench for the Knights. Dolphins missing Finafuiaki through concussion and Connolly Lemueli through an eye socket. Oren Keeley comes on and Mark Nichols comes on as well. This is Knights Dolphins, Knights home ground. If you don't have anything to say, just tell me who you're tipping and how much by. I'll try to not say too much because it's the Knights and we've spoken about them enough.
I will tip. I didn't get to watch the Dolphins game.
Neither.
When did they play? They played South.
8 o'clock on Friday, so I was plus West Campbelltown.
Yes, I was at a wedding. I'm going to go Newcastle Boyd on the back of a huge, tremendous, the best signing in their club's history.
I missed the sign how Andrew John's coming back, but anyway. Henry? Finns
by 4. I think they're going to sneak out to just at the end.
Why did you even bother coming on tonight, honestly?
Fins up.
No, I think Newcastle, because I have to. But yeah, it's a scary bench for the Knights. It's actually it's not as bad as last week with Adam Elliott there, to be honest.
Yeah,
it looks a lot better. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that looks a lot better. Warriors v Manly.
100%. So we've got.
It's got to be after last week, doesn't it?
Hey.
I'm hoping.
Yeah, man.
This game should not have Para at the bottom after this week. After that game.
Well, I don't know who you guys are playing this week, but look, I think Manly as well.
Tigers. But yes, Manly.
Yeah, but my only concern is that it's in Warrior Town, and Andrew Webster, as shit as his team is, he's not a bad coach.
He is. I'm convinced he is.
You're convinced he's a bad coach?
Yep.
What did he do
Interesting.
that's so wrong?
Look
Look,
at the
what?
team list.
Okay, what would you
He needs
change?
to change.
Oh, okay,
I would
Roger.
put Roger to fullback, and I would put Tamari Martin at 7 and Metcalf at 6.
Yeah. Okay. I
Yeah,
guess.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
I'm a
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. 2 spine changes, and they're both good.
Yeah, thank you. You were getting ready to yell at me that I was wrong, and now you're like, "Oh, James just made a really good point."
Yeah,
I
he
don't
did.
know what to say.
Yeah. Look, even the best of us make mistakes, and that's all Webster's doing at the moment. All right. So.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, yeah. If he doesn't, yeah. You don't think Tamaro slept with someone's girlfriend again, did he?
He
Allegedly.
might have.
Yeah. But moving on, Manly by a bit.
Yeah, Manly by a bit.
Yep. Ooh. Panthers Roosters.
No, there's no because I've started my tradition that I started last year of I put $50 on a team in round 1,
Uh-huh.
and then whatever that has made me, I will put onto a team in round 2, and hopefully that keeps going on and on and on for many, many weeks, and I've become very, very rich, which is sweet doing. But so I've actually put my money on Penrith this week. So
Can we
it's gonna be a flogging.
Can we take a moment? Lindsay Collins, Connor Watson, Nafahu White, Angus Crichton, Sia Wong, decent. Fiketti, Docker Clay, Makatoa, Steep, Lasalu. I don't think I've seen a bench that weak from the Roosters ever. This includes 2016.
Oh, there's been some years where it's been like your Daniel Cons and.
But there's also always been like 1 or 2 worldies on the bench when those things happen, right? Like,
so let's have a look, right? Get this up.
what am I bringing up? The Roosters squad?
No. I'm just looking at the team list. Like Spencer comes in, so therefore Collins on Nafahu got to go to the bench. Radley comes in. Butcher comes in. So
you'd have
there's
2
also
Butchers,
talk
Spencer,
today
and who?
Yeah, so basically if I look at our team, you got Spencer would come in for Lasalu. I think Steep stays, and I think both Butchers.
Yeah.
You've also got Brandon Smith.
Yeah.
Probably could play on the bench. Even though there's talk today that we're going to get Francis Molo. Well, if that's the case, why did we let Terrell May go? Like it was let Terrell May go to get Francis Molo. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
I still don't get that move, but yeah.
Man,
that's hilarious.
That's one of the
I think
more
it might be
confusing.
just a 1-year thing.
Like, how? Yeah, but even if it's a 1-year thing, just sack Terrell in a year. It's not like you had to sack him this year, right? He had a contract.
Yeah.
You told him to go away. It's not like, he didn't have a contract and you're like, we don't want you anymore. So I don't, keep him until you don't need him.
Yeah, it's odd. It's real. It's odd.
Yeah.
Very.
And, if it was like a personality thing, the Roosters usually wouldn't sit idle and cop a player talking shit about them in the media. Right? Like Terrell May has come out and said, I don't know why they got rid of me, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. And if they had a real reason, usually the Roosters would just come out and say, because he did this, see you later.
Yeah, it's odd.
But yeah, Penrith by a shitload. And also...
Yeah, as I've said, I've had my $54 on Penrith. So.
Yeah, and also, Penrith are an example of how you should build a squad. Like, Jack Cole is the 5'8", not Talangi. Isaiah Papali'i, as much as my super coach would love him to start, he needs to work his way past Scott Sorensen, who had a good year last year. I think, that's important to point out, just because I've got it on the screen here, and I think not enough people are talking about how they structure their squad. They just talk about Nathan
the shiny
Cleary.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not about the shiny thing.
100%.
It's about build building, developing, and giving confidence to the people that are already performing.
Yeah. Oh, you know who else we forgot for the Roosters? Victor Radley comes in back. Will come back at some point as well.
No, I did say that, but that's
Oh,
all right,
did
but
you? Sorry. Yeah, I just sort of go over him. Yeah, I don't pay too much attention there. You guys playing like a halfback. I don't know why. Next game, Dragons Souths. I think both of these clubs would
Dragons.
play Victor Radley as a halfback.
Oh, Dragons.
I don't know. Why?
It's hard, but I'd just pick the Dragons because I like the Dragons more than I like.
Yeah, I. This is a toss-em for me. I think I'd lean towards Souths just because they won last week and the Dragons lost.
They played only literally a couple of weeks ago. I know it's a charity shield.
Mm.
I think the main talking point from this game is the Pommy.
Lewis.
Yeah, like you went and got suspended, and cost you because old mate played really well, Jamie Humphries.
Yeah,
and looks like you will now be a reserve grader.
Well, Humphries is a gun. Like he was a gun last year for Manly. That he was always going to replace DCE.
DCE just chose never to be replaced.
Yeah, but that's not a bad thing for Manly. They've got like I think 2 halfbacks that are like 18 coming through.
Isn't that is it Tony or Tony Large or Small?
Yeah, that's one. I don't know if he's the Union guy, but if he's not, then
he's the Union guy.
Yeah, okay, so he's the Union guy. They've also got I think a schoolboy coming through as well. And they're both, I haven't seen either of them play, but people whose opinions I trust are like, yeah, they're good. And I'm like, okay, well, we'll see which one comes off. Because even at 18, you say they're good, they could fizzle out. But like you've got 2 options there that are very highly rated. Humphries had to leave.
Just let yourself be.
I don't know. Yeah, I rate Humphries, and I think Souths are special to win. Henry?
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's going to be Dragons just because I don't like the Souths.
The Souths. You're the opposite of Phil Gould. He would just say Rabbitoh, and you're like, the Souths.
Did you help name the Dolphins?
Let's keep going.
Hillam, no, what was his name? Nanai dropped.
Nanai dropped, yeah. Now,
which is good because Nanai sucks.
Yeah, but he
needs a defensive coach. He needs a defensive coach. He just needs to learn how to defend properly.
Yeah, but last year, the Cowboys had the option to sign Fine Fuiaki or Jeremiah Nanai. They picked Nanai,
the wrong choice.
And they dropped him after a week.
This goes back to our Dylan Brown and our flogging conversation
of
teams being dumb.
100%. And here's the other thing. Cowboys keep Fine Fuiaki. The Cowboys are stronger, and it's a better decision. The Dolphins sign Nanai. Guess what? The Dolphins are stronger. Like, he's probably an upgrade to whoever they would have played there instead, right?
Yeah.
Like, he's a turnstile, don't get me wrong.
But you can score a try.
Yeah. And you, like, it's not. And it's just why you have these players in front of you, literally at training every day, and you do make that move.
It's like the coaches work from home at times, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
So did you watch? Or like sometimes I think, like, am I watching a different game?
Yeah. Like when they persist with certain players, and you're just like, what? Like, what are you doing? Like Billy Walters, like, and I know it's his kid, but how do you justify that? I don't.
Because he doesn't have to. He was on radio crying that he was picked on the bench from round 1.
Well, then it goes back to, okay, what's the CEO doing?
Yeah, correct.
Right?
No, they only gave him the job because all the old boys were fucking
Yeah,
filthy.
look, the CEO call's probably a bit tough. Like Donaghy, it probably took some time to get the cogs of the Broncos turning, and it seems like it's finally going.
Look, yeah, it's finally going.
Yeah. But other clubs, what are their CEOs doing and general managers of football? Like,
mate, look at the fact that they had Lane for Parramatta for so long in that position.
Well, he's back, mate. He's back.
That's my problem.
And you know what your problem is?
Maybe what we need to do? We need to hype him up a little bit, and then hopefully the Knights will sign him for about $1 million, and we can get rid of him. So
Over 15 years.
out of 15 years, because Jesus, he is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thing is, you know what? He's not a bad player if he came off the bench.
Yeah, and you know what else? The worst part for you is he's an upgrade on Kelma last week. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, he had a shocker, but
To be fair, not many
the weather
players
was
for you
hot.
guys had a good game.
no,
Yeah,
they
the
didn't.
weather was. I think the weather really killed everyone. So
Yeah,
I'm just
it was
giving
weird
Kelma
how it
one
was
more.
35 degrees for you and 27 degrees for the Storm. James, how did they do that?
Yeah, it's
Climate change.
Yeah.
Yep.
The weather, man, it was just so hard on the Eels that they had to play
Yep.
in hotter temperatures than the other team. It was crazy.
Cyclone Alfred.
Heat wave, Henry.
All right, so the Sharks.
Yeah,
I'm
Sharks.
tipping the Sharks.
Yeah, I'm tipping the Sharks too. Oh, I don't know.
Sharks. What do you mean you don't know?
I mean, it's in North Queensland in March.
Sharks.
I'll still probably tip the Sharks, but yeah, I just thought I'd say that. North Queensland in
The only reason
early
why
season, I almost never
Cowboys,
tip against them.
the only reason why Cowboys has any chance is the Sharks are still hungover from their trip. It's the only reason why.
Yeah, no, I just
So
have
you're saying the Roosters are a chance?
no.
The thing is, Panthers can rock up with half their team and they'll probably still
Yeah,
beat the
and the
Roosters.
other thing, Penrith have won the comp for 4 years in a row. I think they know how to get
Yeah.
on the drink and handle it. Like they've had a
Yeah.
lot of practice. That being said, they've lost a fair few World Club challenges. So
Yeah, the last Australian team to win that was the Chooks. You're welcome.
it's a bullshit game anyway. Next game, pretty bullshit as well. Raiders Broncos.
Feeling the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah, Broncos, because he's in TARP and he's suspended.
Yeah. So it's not the worst thing in the world though, because Papali'i starts, and then they bring Nicholson on. Yeah.
Broncos.
Look. Yeah. I'm going Broncos. Yeah. Do you want to guess how many minutes Payne Haas played last week?
Not many.
Yeah. It
Didn't
felt
he
like
play like 50 minutes?
yeah, just under.
Which is good,
yeah.
but he was so impactful during that time, and that's all
I was
that
going
he
to say,
needed.
it felt like he did enough things to play for 70 minutes.
Ah,
The amount of stuff
not
he
that-
did, right? I was like, oh
I
my
had him
God.
in Supercoach and
He turned up, didn't he?
he
Yeah,
close.
it was crazy. But speaking of crazy bad, Parramatta and the Tigers.
Ah, but he
I'm
was-
tipping.
I'm tipping the Tigers. James, break the deadlock.
Yeah, James, just put your money
I'm
straight
tipping
on Para.
Para.
What?
Yes.
This is
Yes.
in no way a reflection of my thoughts on Parramatta. This is a reflection on the Tigers.
Okay. To play defense to the Tigers, both teams played shit last week. The Tigers are bringing in Api Coruscant, Jareem Buller, and I think Startower. Parramatta
Yeah,
are bringing in
bringing Shaun Lane.
yep,
We're bringing Shaun Lane, and we're bringing
Samrani.
that bloke.
Yeah.
The winger.
Yeah.
That's it.
So-
Gordon. That's it. I mean,
Based off just that, and we know we shouldn't really trust the ins of the Tigers because they tend to go crap anyway. Based off just that, I'm going to tip the Tigers.
well, that's
It's more of an
Gordon.
ethical life ethics thing for me that I can't tip the.
Hey, but
the
just
Tigers.
one thing here I wanted to shout out. This Jack Williams guy, last week's performance, he's probably one of our better players
Yeah.
last week.
He looks
played
like
really
a
well.
future Rooster.
The 10 minutes
Don't
I
say
saw,
that. The way that he just
Um,
runs holes and his
Matt
movement.
Dury looked good.
Yeah, he was.
I've been saying it for a while now, but yes.
Yeah, you have. To be fair to Henry, he's been banging that drum
Saying-
for a while.
Yeah,
He
'cause I
needed.
was watching the UFC. Then when the UFC finished, I switched over to that game.
Well, if we are going to talk about that game, how good was Pappenhausen? And Munster, both of them.
Phenomenal.
Mate, they are... I don't
On
want to jinx
fire.
it, but they are on. Like, they're going to kill
Jerome
it for
didn't
the
even
next...
need to do much.
Yeah, they're going to kill it for the next 10 weeks, take a rest during Origin, come back and win the comp. Bulldogs Titans.
Penrith win the comp, by the way.
Yeah, we know. We've got the spreadsheet. But Bulldogs Titans. I don't know how I feel about this game.
Bulldogs.
I want
They've been
Bulldogs.
settled.
Like, the Titans have 3 fullbacks in their back 7.
They did that last year.
Did
They
they?
didn't learn from the mistake.
Did they have?
They did. They're
All
in
3?
different positions. They weren't.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think AJ was at centre, wasn't he? Either way, it's. I don't get it. Like, if you've got I'd be playing Carter. I think it's a perfect game to play Carter.
It feels like Titans have all the shiny pieces, and instead of playing the right players in the right areas, they just want to put the shiny pieces on.
Yeah.
This is
Like-
again what we said. Dumb
Penrith
teams
are
being dumb.
This is why Penrith are better.
And it's not
Like
even.
Jaden Campbell at 7. Like, I'm not saying he can't
He can play.
play 7.
No,
I don't think he plays.
can
I
play
don't think he plays
6
7. He's like
next
6,
to Jamal
but I don't think
Fogarty.
he plays.
right?
Yeah,
And-
and like 6 next to it.
Yeah, and guess where Jamal Fogarty was a few years ago? At the Titans, and they let him go for some reason. Probably on. Yeah, they could have kept him for half the money they're giving Brimson. Like, and
I was
Brimson's
gonna
a
say,
good
what-
player.
Brimson's a good
less
player,
than
but I don't know why Brimson's even 6. To be honest, I'm not a big fan of Brimson at 6. But anyways,
He's a fullback.
yeah, no, that's what I think. That's where
Yeah,
I think he should be.
he's a
I don't.
fullback.
I think Keanu Kenny. Yeah, fair enough. He's a gun, but doesn't have the upside of AJ with that experience of being
Yeah.
able to control his team defensively and then also set up for attack.
Yeah, like what's wrong with Brimson at fullback, Campbell at 6, Carter Gordon at 7,
Exactly.
and this like
What's
Kenny.
wrong?
Hey,
What's wrong with Kenny at fullback, Campbell at 6, Gordon at 7, Brimson at 6 for the Chooks, running off Walker. Thank you.
Well, then where's Galvin going to play, mate?
Oh, well,
He's a Parramatta. He's a Parramatta.
He can go to
Galvin's
Parramatta.
going.
He can go to Parramatta. There you go.
Well, who's going to be the halfback for the Knights then?
Dylan Brown.
Oh shit!
And by the way you're paying him, he's going to be fullback, 5'8", halfback, front rower, captain, CEO,
Yeah,
and groundsman.
he's going to be our sponsor as well, isn't he? He's got the sleeves.
Yeah.
Yeah. The less said about that, the better. Even though we spent 20 minutes on it, but look, I am going the Bulldogs as well. Is this at Belmore? Yeah, it's at Belmore. Yeah, Bulldogs. Let's hope the Dragons play the Dogs at Belmore sometime this year. That'll be fun to watch the crowd there. But Henry, did you open Supercoach at all?
I haven't even looked at it.
Do you want to look at it? Let us know how you went. Because the podcast team did phenomenal. While you're doing it, I'll bring up
Okay.
the podcast team. James, do you want to guess what we scored?
Was phenomenal being facetious or legit?
Nah, legit.
1,200.
1364.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah.
I didn't do any updates to the team, so mine was 12.
Yeah, so I've decided. I'm also sharing my screen if you guys want to see what I'm talking about sometimes.
Same as me.
I will. Let's keep talking about the podcast team, and then we'll bring yours up, Henry. So there's a bit of a deviation now. So instead of my team being a mirror for yours, because we like communication's a bit tough and timing of you being in the US, this podcast team is going to be how we explain things. Your team's just going to be your team, but this will be like we'll go through it. We'll do it together as best we can. You'll make a lot of the decisions and ask a lot of questions, but in lieu of you, I'll just record a pod and on my own and put it up. So we got 1364. We're ranked 2,632. This team is ranked better than my actual team, where I got like.
What rank are you?
I think like 10,000. I got 1307. So it's really tight at the start, but yeah.
I am ranked 59,000.
Yeah, this is wow. Okay.
What about Belly's Bulldogs? 1591.
Jeez.
He beat Terry Evans on top by 1 point, 1590.
Wow. Yeah, it was a
I
I
huge.
got my team got 1,049.
That's kind of shit, James. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna stop sharing. I reckon I might do a Supercoach episode later, just because this is going long. But Henry, do you want to just screen share again? We'll see your team in case I can't get you back on the podcast. Let's make some changes now. What do you reckon? Have you got time for that?
Oh, I was going to say we can do it during the sometime this week. I've got time this week, so you
Okay.
let me know.
Yeah, if
I
you've
think
got
it's
time
better.
this week, I've got time tomorrow, Australian afternoon. We can discuss
Sounds
this
good.
offline. But yeah,
Sounds good.
that's it for this week. I think I don't have anything more to say, except
No,
rip the Knights.
nothing else.
Nothing else. You're all out. Henry,
Nothing else from me.
nothing else. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for listening. If you made it the hour through, and we'll see you sometime this week for the Supercoach episode. Keep an eye out. The Supercoach episode is doing really good, so I should be telling people to come to hear from that. But if you do happen to listen to this, head over to Supercoach. All your questions answered. Drop a comment, leave a like, subscribe. It only took Henry a year to do that, and we'll see you in a few days. Oops, I didn't stop recording.